This is Hunter. He has a film project due for his Marine Invert class. Instead of creating a video about an animal, he chose to make life harder and create a whole science experiment.
Hey, I don't appreciate that. I like science, so I wanted to do a science project on it.
If you say so. Well, to make a film on a science project, the first step is to generate an idea or goal. He spent many days stressing over the idea for the project. This wasn't the first time a science major is stressed, and it certainly won't be the last. After being inspired by his class that had involved taking water parameters, he began to brainstorm similar topics. He went down to T-Dock on campus that day hoping that he'd get an idea along the way. When walking along the dock, he noticed the many species of jellyfish. After a long glance, a light bulb went off.
I know what I'm going to test.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, let me tell you about it.
I'm curious if there's a correlation between the water quality and the most abundant jellyfish at T-Dock, the Atlantic sea nettle. Scientific name? Great, so now he's not going to get a 0. This was only the first step. Following this idea, he began to research the Atlantic sea nettle and jellyfish blooms to find water qualities that he should test. Got it. The most important water quality I should be testing is temperature, salinity, pH, and water hardness. Through reading this peer-reviewed journal, I found that there is a positive linear correlation between jellyfish blooms and temperature rising. Furthermore, they concluded that as the temperature dropped, there was a disappearance of jellyfish.
Next is salinity, and through reading this source, I found that sea nettles are more resilient in lower salinity levels than other jellyfish. This evolved adaptation makes them more abundant throughout the world. The next water quality we're going to look at is pH. Jellyfish are less sensitive to pH than other cnidarians such as coral. And our last water parameter we're going to look at is water hardness, which is measured in TDS, or total dissolved solids.
Great, now it's coming together. But what about your hypothesis?
I was just getting there. Now, my hypothesis is going to be, since this started in September and is going to go to November, there's going to be a decline throughout the time of the population of sea nettles. Now, when there's precipitation and it mixes with the water, there's going to be lower salinity. That means there's going to be more jellyfish. Let's see.
Hunter continued his research and discovered what he would need. He began a long and relentless journey to acquire these materials. After a long-fought effort to obtain such devices, he prevailed. Now that I have all the devices to test the water, there's a slight problem in my plan. I need to bring the water to me to test it, so let's see what I can find around my apartment. So I found some things that I think is going to work quite well. I found a jar, some duct tape, and some rope, so let's see what I can do. Now that I have everything and I'm prepared, let's go down to T-Dock.
I'm here at T-Dock with all my materials, and first, before we begin, we need to make a plan. What we're going to do is water testing bi-weekly. Alright, now let's get started.
As you can see, Hunter executes obtaining the water with such ease that only a top-tier athlete of that stature could perform. The grueling task of obtaining the water does not come easy, as it tests the mental fortitude and requires finesse that only the most experienced scientists can perform. Testing the water's pH, temperature, salinity, and hardness is a ruthless endeavor, but the worst is yet to come. Counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, all we need to do is record the data. And just like that, he's done with the experiment for today. Next, he'll be back in 4 days to do it all over again. The current goal is to obtain an excess of data so that finding patterns will lead to conclusions. Hunter continued twice a week checking the water quality near T-Dock and counting the sea nettles rain or shine. Then, on the last day of recording, he noticed his journey has come to an end, and a tear fell from his eye.
Oh, this? No. It's not what it looks like.
After recording all my data, here's what I found. At 7.7 pH, showed the most Atlantic sea nettles in the area. When there was a lower salinity, that also showed the most.
and at higher temperature was the same. At about 3,500 TDS, or total dissolved solids, it showed the most Atlantic sea nettles in the area. The month with the most Atlantic sea nettles was October.
Water quality played a role in this, but I found that the biggest factor was high wind created by storms to carry the jellyfish to T-Dock.
You're still here? What are you doing? This is over. Get out of here. What are you doing? Get out of here. It's over.